Dun 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 Hello everybody, Jordan here, the PH is silent, and in this video I'll be discussing the Spelljammer D&D campaign setting from the 1990s, going over planets and races that are found in Spelljammer, and specifically the deadly Niyogi. If you're new here, this is actually a mini-series, and if you want to watch from the beginning, click the link in the top right corner or in the description below. Welcome, friends, to the USS Spelljammer. We're about to cruise around the known universe and see what we can find. Planets are ports of the ocean that is wild space. There are many types of planets, and for the most part, every spelljamming ship needs to find a suitable planet for oxygen, supplies, and occasionally repairs. For this video, I've pulled information from the Spelljammer box set Adventures in Space and supplements released later called Practical Planetology. Affiliate links to all those down below under references. There are the known crystal spheres in Spelljammer. These are Kryn Space, Gray Space, and Realm Space, which are the solar systems for 3 of the popular campaign settings for D&D at the time: Dragonlance, Greyhawk, and the Forgotten Realms. I've gone over Realm Space in a previous video, which I'll link at the top right and in the description, going over the planets and other weird stuff was in Realm Space. I don't know if you are interested in videos for Kryn Space or Gray Space. I'm more unfamiliar with those campaign settings, but I can always learn, and maybe their planetoids would be a fun place to start researching. Let me know in the comments below. You could hypothetically have a very exciting adventure just in one of these 3 crystal spheres, but if exploration calls to you, then navigating the phlogiston to an unknown crystal sphere might be a path more interesting. Spelljammer has several types of planets, and they have rankings of size and, type. You can make your own or mix and match types. This makes planet building simplified so players and DMs know what to expect on a specific type of planet. This doesn't mean you can't switch things up and throw your players for a loop if you want to. Now, Earth bodies are planets that resemble our Earth. They usually have an ocean, plants, breathable air. Fire bodies would be stars or glowing red-hot planetoids, a flaming gaseous atmosphere, and many of these have an opening to the plane of fire somewhere inside them, most likely the center core. Water bodies are planets made up of mostly water. They could be frigid worlds encased in ice or boiling. Some land may exist, but to separate it from an Earth body, perhaps the islands are floating and move along the surface of the water. Or there's an ancient alien artifact that holds the watery sphere together, which, I mean, you go and you explore that with your ragtag crew and a Delta Flyer. It's all right there. Air bodies are the most common type of planet in the majority of solar systems. They range in size, but are often the largest planets. Some are spheres of gas with no solid material, although they could have some floating masses of earth, water, or even fire. They are usually covered in clouds, and maybe you could stop and have lunch in a city in the clouds, a cloud city, if you will. Then there are non-standard worlds, which encompasses everything else. These worlds could be a giant floating head in space. It could be a flat planet with a mountain, or maybe a giant tree. Maybe in a solar system, there's a Mobius strip planet. How did it come to be? What does it all mean? Adventures in Space, the Spelljammer supplement, gives us a few tools for universe building, and I found them interesting, so let's build a universe. Once heroes move out of the phlogiston, they will discover a new universe. If this isn't a pre-planned universe such as Realm Space, the DM will need to create it, and there are some questions that will help you define what the players encounter. So what type of system is it? Is it standard or is it special in some case? And what do you find inside this crystal sphere? Is this a single flat world, like you may walk to the edge of the universe? Is it nested spheres, like one small crystal sphere within the next, forming a series of like ring worlds around a central unseen hub? Each ring may have its own environments and physical attributes. There could be a void without any level ground, without anything in it. There could be one spherical world wrapped inside a crystal sphere. The movements of the stars and sun are projected on the inside of the sphere from some interior source. There is always the standard system, but the standard systems have some kind of primary body at the center, usually usually a star, a planet, a black hole, and you get to decide what is the number of main planets orbiting this primary body. What are the orbit rings of each body? For each planetary body, what is the size, type, and shape? Are there moons? Are there inhabitants? Do some or all civilizations have spelljamming capabilities in this crystal sphere? What is the distance to the crystal shell of the system? Usually it's twice the orbit of the furthest major body. Now for inspiration, we can create a randomly generated system using some percentile die. Hey everybody, it's my face, and I thought this would be a little bit easier if we just kind of roll up a random universe. So I've got a dice roller, I've got the Adventures box set PDF right here, and let's dive in. So first of all, we do a system type, and a lot of this is percentile dice. So choosing here, we're gonna roll percentile dice, and it's gonna work. There we go. 92. 1 to 95 is a standard system, so we're gonna have 92 standard system. And then we're gonna do the primary type, what is gonna be the center of this area. So we're gonna get rid of that and we'll roll again. This is 98. So no primary, the planets orbit an empty spot in the center. So that's kind of cool. 98, no primary, just an empty spot in the center of this solar system. Number of planets, let's roll some percentile dice again. 66, so we have 9 planets to do. 9 planets orbiting this empty spot. Planetary movement, we roll percentile again, but it's a bunch, and we get 68. Planets are worlds orbiting around a central point. 68 planets are worlds orbiting around a central point. Planetary motion, another, we're getting these percentile dice, we're getting good use out of them. 21, all planets move clockwise in orbit. And planetary characteristics. Roll on the following table for each of the planets involved. We have 9 planets, but I'm gonna do 2, just for time's sake. So let's roll 2 percentile dice and see what we get. We have to roll for our type, our size, and then earth and water type, fire and air types, earth and water types, and then shape. So it looks like we have to roll maybe 2 or 3 times. Okay, planet type rolling. We got a 93, which is a water type. So we're gonna do, okay, so planets. We got planet 1 is 93 water type. So for water types, we roll percentile again. We get 21, it is a size D. So 21, size D. And what is the shape of this? 71, it is a flat world. Interesting. Planet 2 is going to be 70, it is going to be an air type. 70 air type. Its size is going to be 19, which is size D again. And then what is the shape of this planet? 40. 40, it is going to be spherical. All right, so we go ahead and make those. And then there's some extra optional stuff like moons, rings, strange atmosphere, things like that. So I could say, hey, you know what, this air planet, it's gonna have something weird about it. Let's roll. 69, nice. The planet is hotter than normal. And there we have it, the solar system of Fajor and its Earth-like planet of Fadan, where people speak every word with a silent PH in the middle. The races in Spelljammer are varied, as they are in the player's handbook. Humans are out flying around. There are elven armadas, which are highly organized and rule several areas of wild space. They will assist others for assistance in return. Dwarves are widespread, and while elves consider themselves as one giant nation of people, dwarves consider their nation to be more localized to their ship. Citadel Spelljammer ships with kings and queens and subjects who explore wild space. The lizard men are intelligent and vicious. They were supposedly slaves of mind flayers and humans who broke free. There are gnomes, halflings, goblins, all make their home somewhere in Spelljammer. Now, the opposite of this are extraplanar beings who don't enjoy wild space. Creatures like elementals, devils, modrons, or the Slod, they dislike being there. They feel very cut off from their native plane. Beholders, liches, mind flayers, as well as radiant dragons just flying around. I would be neglectful if I didn't talk about the best race in Spelljammer. The Giff. Also known as hippo folk, who are mercenaries from some far-off crystal sphere. They have powerful muscles and stocky frames, standing about 8 or 9 feet tall. They love dressing in uniforms or elaborate armor. More likely, the armor is more show-offable than protect. They are very strong and loyal, and let's be honest, the Giff are, if I had to categorize them, they're the Mandalorians of Spelljammer. This is the way, and I am not upset about it. Giff are a warrior race who do not enjoy fighting their own kind. Other races are seen as either employment or troublemakers. Maybe you could hire a Giff for your Spelljammer campaign, or if you want to play one, there are old D&D racial stats for the Giff in Dragon Magazine number 339. If you need an enemy for your Spelljammer campaign, there are plenty to choose from. Beholders, illithids, and more all roam about wild space. However, there is one evil creature that is unique to Spelljammer, and that is the Niyogi. The Niyogi are a spider eel type creature with a bloated body, claws, and fur. They're just weird and creepy. They fly around in Spelljammer ships called death spiders, which you'd assume would be a drow ship. They are all slave traders and consider every living thing in the multiverse to either be enslaved or to have ownership of said enslaved. They are ruthless, killing and taking what they want. They eat their enemies and even fallen comrades. Very hateful and xenophobic. They speak a unique language that is difficult to learn outside of using magic, and most Neogi can speak 1 to 4 other languages on top of that. They have an affinity for Umber Hulks and breed them, training them from birth to care for and protect other Neogi. Their bite is poisonous, resulting in the slow condition for a set amount of rounds in combat. The Neogi are asexual. There are no females or males. When a Neogi grows too old and their mind fades, other Neogi will attack them, injecting their poison into the older Neogi. All these different poisons mix with the Neogi's blood and transform it into a bloated creature that is 20 feet in height and girth. The intelligence of this creature fades and their legs and arms become useless. The creature is now known as a great old master. It devours flesh and it is fed live and dead things. After 2 months of nonstop eating, this creature will burst apart and outspill 20 to 40 mature Neogi. These newly formed Neogi have no real sense of self other than they are hungry and they must kill. So the Neogi battle each other to the death. Of the 20 or 40, only 3 to 6 will survive and move on to become Umber Hulk owners and perhaps crew a ship. The Neogi are something players don't want to encounter. They are very smart, physically powerful, and completely alien to player characters. They don't see dwarves, humans, and elves as someone to barter with. To a Neogi, your ship, its crew, and you are all up for grabs, to live, serve, and die as a slave to the Neogi. Little is known of the Neogi, which can be fun for you as a dungeon master. Their homeworld is referred to as Kajigz and is supposedly lost. Kajigz was the place of the Neogi creator deity. Their creation myth is that the deity, Kajigsil, was killed by lesser Neogi gods, and he fell to the planet. His head cracked open in the fall, and his brain spilled out. The Neogi were born from this dead deity's brain matter. The other lesser Neogi deities spoke to this newly hatched race, saying it was their destiny to conquer all the crystal spheres. So the Neogi promptly left their home planet and never looked back. Next week, I'll be discussing updated rules for running a Spelljammer game in D&D. I also have an adventure that I was reading that I feel is a good jumping off point from a traditional D&D game into a Spelljammer game. Thanks for sharing my videos with your gaming group and supporting the channel. Super thanks to my patrons for keeping the lights on. I will see you all in the next video.